Good day, strikers. In our science facts I'm going to discuss all about volcanoes, and our first part is the Taal volcano. It is a large caldera filled by Taal Lake in the Philippines, located in the province of Batangas. The volcano is one of the most active volcanoes in the country, with 34 recorded historical eruptions, all of which were concentrated on Volcano Island, near the middle of Taal Lake. The caldera was formed by prehistoric eruptions between 140,000 and 5,380 BP. The volcano is located about 50 kilometers, 31 miles, south of Manila, the capital of the Philippines. Taal volcano has had several violent eruptions in the past, causing deaths on the island and the populated areas surrounding the lake, with an overall death toll of about 6,000. Because of its proximity to populated areas, and its eruptive history, the volcano was designated a decade volcano, worthy of close study to prevent future natural disasters. All volcanoes in the Philippines are part of the Ring of Fire. Taal volcano was known as Bombo or Bombon in the 1800s. The municipality of Taal and the Talan River, now known as Panzipit River, were named after the talan tree, which grows along the river. The tree also grew along the shore of Bombon Lake, now known as Taal Lake. The Talan River was a narrow channel that connects the present-day Taal Lake and Balan Bay to each other. Taal is a Tagalog word in the Batangan dialect that means true, genuine, and pure. Taal volcano is part of a chain of volcanoes lining the western edge of the island of Luzon. They were formed by the subduction of the Eurasian plate underneath the Philippine Mobile Belt. Taal Lake lies within a 25 to 30 kilometers caldera formed by explosive eruptions between 140,000 and 5,380 BP. Each of these eruptions created extensive ignimbrite deposits reaching as far away as present-day Manila. Taal volcano and lake are entirely located in the province of Batangas. The northern half of Volcano Island falls under the jurisdiction of the lakeshore town of Talisay. Permanent settlement on the island is prohibited by the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, declaring the whole Volcano Island as a high-risk area and a permanent danger zone. Despite the warnings, some families remain settled on the island, earning a living by fishing and farming crops in the rich volcanic soil. The main crater lake on Volcano Island is the largest lake on an island in the world. This lake used to contain Vulcan Point, a small rocky island inside the lake. After the 2020 eruption, the main crater lake temporarily disappeared due to volcanic activity, but had returned by March 2020. 16. Since the formation of the caldera, subsequent eruptions have created a volcanic island within the caldera, known as Volcano Island. This 5-kilometer, 3.1 miles, island covers an area of about 23 square kilometers, 8.9 square miles, with the center of the island occupied by the 2-kilometer, 1.2 miles, main crater with a single crater lake formed from the 1911 eruption. The island consists of different overlapping cones and craters, of which 47 have been identified. 26 of these are tuff cones, 5 are cinder cones, and 4 are Mars. One of the more devastating eruptions of Taal occurred in January 1911. During the night of the 27th of that month, the seismographs at the Manila Observatory commenced to register frequent disturbances, which were at first of insignificant importance, but increased rapidly in frequency and intensity. The total recorded shocks on that day numbered 26. During the 28th there were recorded 217 distinct shocks, of which 135 were microseismic and 10 quite severe. The frequent and increasingly strong earthquakes caused much alarm in Manila, but the observatory staff was soon able to locate their epicenter in the region of Taal volcano and assured the public that Manila was in no danger, as Taal was some 60 kilometers, 37 miles, away, too far to directly damage the city. In Manila, in the early hours of January 30, 1911, people were awakened by what they at first perceived as loud thunder. The illusion was heightened when lightning illuminated the southern skies. A huge, fan-shaped cloud of what looked like black smoke ascended to great heights, crisscrossed with a brilliant display of volcanic lightning. This cloud finally shot up in the air, spread, then dissipated, marking the culmination of the eruption. At about 2:30 a.m. on Volcano Island, the destruction was complete. It seems that when the black, fan-shaped cloud spread, it created a blast downward that forced hot steam and gases down the slopes of the crater, accompanied by a shower of hot mud and sand. Many trees had their bark shredded and cut away from the surface by the hot sand and mud. This shower was the main cause of the loss of life and destruction of property around the volcano. The fact that practically all the vegetation was bent downward, away from the crater, suggested that there must have been a very strong blast down the outside slopes of the cone. Very little vegetation was actually burned or even scorched 6 hours after the explosion. Dust from the crater was noticeable in Manila as it settled on furniture and other polished surfaces. The solid matter ejected had a volume of between 70 and 80 million cubic meters, 2.5 and 2.8 billion cubic feet. Ash fell over an area of 2,000 square kilometers, 770 square miles, although the area in which actual destruction took place measured only 230 square kilometers, 89 square miles. The detonation from the explosion was heard over an area more than 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles, in diameter. Death toll: the eruption claimed a reported 1,100 lives and injured 199, although it is assumed that more perished than the official records show. The 7 barangays that existed on the island previous to the eruption were completely wiped out. Post-mortem examination of the victims seemed to show that practically all had died of scalding by hot steam or hot mud, or both. The devastating effects of the blast reached the west shore of the lake, where a number of villages were also destroyed. 702 cattle were killed and 543 nipa houses destroyed. Crops suffered from the deposit of ashes that fell to a depth of almost half an inch in places near the shore of the lake. Volcano Island sank between 1 and 3 meters, 3 and 10 feet, as a result of the eruption. It was also found that the southern shore of Lake Taal sank because of the eruption. No evidences of lava could be discovered anywhere, nor have geologists been able to trace any visible records of a lava flow having occurred at any time on the volcano during the eruption. Another peculiarity of the geologic aspects of Taal is the fact that no sulfur has been found on the volcano. The yellow deposits and incrustations noticeable in the crater and its vicinity are iron salts, according to chemical analysis. A slight smell of sulfur was perceptible at the volcano, which came from the gases that escaped from the crater. Great changes took place in the crater after the eruption. Before 1911, the crater floor was higher than Taal Lake and had several separate openings, in which there were lakes of different colors. There was a green lake, a yellow lake, a red lake and some holes filled with hot water from which steam issued. Many places were covered with a shaky crust of volcanic material, full of crevices, which was always hot and on which it was rather dangerous to walk. Immediately after the explosion, the various colored lakes had disappeared and in their place was one large lake, about 10 feet below the level of the lake surrounding the island. The crater lake gradually rose to the level of the water in Taal Lake. Popular opinions after the creation of the lake held that the presence of the water in the crater cooled off the material below and thus lessened the chances of an explosion or the extinction of the volcano. This explanation has since been rejected by experts. The subsequent eruptions in 1965 and successive activity came from a new eruptive center, Mount Tavbaro. Since the 1977 eruption, the volcano had shown signs of unrest since 1991, with strong seismic activity and ground fracturing events as well as the formation of small mud pots and mud geysers on parts of the island. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, regularly issued notices and warnings about current activity at Taal, including about the ongoing seismic unrest. On June 8, the PHIVOLCS raised the volcano status to Alert Level 2, scale is 0 to 5, 0 referring to no alert status, which indicates the volcano is undergoing magmatic intrusion, a precursor to an eruption. FIVOLCS reminded the general public that the main crater was off-limits due to the possibility of hazardous steam-driven explosions and buildup of toxic gases. From April 9 to July 5, the alert level on Taal volcano was raised from 1 to 2 because of the increased seismicity of Volcano Island. Frequency peaked at about 115 tremors on May 30 with a maximum intensity of 4, accompanied by rumbling sounds. Magma was intruding towards the surface, as indicated by continuing high rates of CO2 emissions in the main crater lake and sustained seismic activity. Field measurements on May 24 showed that lake temperatures had increased slightly, pH values were slightly more acidic, and water levels were 4 centimeters, 1.6 in, higher. A deformation survey conducted around Volcano Island from April 26 to May 3 showed that the volcano edifice had inflated slightly relative to the April 5-11 survey. In 2019, Alert Level 1 was raised on the volcano because of frequent volcanic activities since March 31, based on the 24-hour monitoring of the Taal volcano's seismic network. 57 volcanic earthquakes were observed from the morning of November 11 to the morning of November 12. The volcano erupted on the afternoon of January 12, 2020, with the alert level of the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, FIVOLCS, escalating from Alert Level 2 to Alert Level 4. It was an eruption from the main crater on Volcano Island. The eruption spewed ashes to Calabarzon, Metro Manila, some parts of central Luzon, and Pangasinan, in the Ilocos region, which cancelled classes, work schedules, and flights. Ashfalls and volcanic thunderstorms were reported, and forced evacuations were made from the island. There were also warnings of a possible volcanic tsunami. The volcano produced volcanic lightning above its crater with ash clouds. The eruption progressed into magmatic eruption, characterized by a lava fountain with thunder and lightning. By January 26, 2020, FIVOLCS observed an inconsistent, but decreasing volcanic activity in Taal, prompting the agency to downgrade its warning to Alert Level 3. On February 14, 2020, FIVOLCS downgraded the volcano's warning to Alert Level 2, due to consistent decreased volcanic activity. A total of 39 people died in the eruption, mostly because they refused to leave their homes or suffered health-related problems during the evacuation. In February 2021, residents from Taal Volcano Island were preemptively evacuated due to the volcano's increasing activity. On March 9, 2021, FIVOLCS raised the alert level from 1 to 2. In June 2021, the volcano's emission of sulfur dioxide gas caused fog to appear over nearby provinces, and even Metro Manila. On July 1, 2021, the volcano erupted at around 3:16 p.m., and the alert level was raised from Alert Level 2 to Level 3. FIVOLCS maintains a distinct alert level system for 6 volcanoes in the Philippines, including